What started as protests turned into violence and property damage. It started with this tweet from 5th and Federal, in which the downtown restaurant expressed support for Liberty University President Jerry Falwell Jr.'s idea to put the blackface picture from Governor Ralph Northam's college yearbook on breathing masks.
Yesterday morning, a peaceful protest took place outside the restaurant, but later protests turned violent. We have team coverage for you this morning from Lynchburg. 10 News reporters Shane Dwyer and Megan Woods join us live from downtown Lynchburg. We start off with Shane, who spoke with armed citizens trying to protect the business from protesters. Shane, good morning.
Good morning, Patrick and Rachel. This is half a brick right here. We picked this up from the inside of 5th and Federal here. You can see windows completely shattered. The folks that were here hunkering down inside the building, and we'll tell you more about them in a second, they say all sorts of stuff was coming through. But I want to take you now inside the building. We do have permission from the folks that are in charge here to allow us to come in here to show you what the inside of this restaurant looks like. Again, 12 hours ago, there were folks inside this restaurant and out on the patio eating dinner, enjoying a Sunday afternoon, and this is what is left on the inside. Now, we talked about the tweet. There was a gentleman who you're about to hear from who approached the owner of the restaurant here. As you see, they put up seats to try to barricade people from getting in here. He said, I will offer you my services and be armed security and get my team of armed citizens in here to protect this restaurant from the people that are protesting. They were here all day. The protesters were peaceful outside throughout the day. But then again, as you said, as night fell and they closed the restaurant, the armed citizens remained here in the restaurant. That's when things turned ugly. They had to hunker down here inside this restaurant. They tell us they were right behind the bar here. You can see a bunch of the bottles just strewn everywhere as the rocks, the bricks, the objects were just flying in on them again behind the bar here with their guns protecting this building. Let's go ahead and listen now to what the leader of the group that was inside in the building here protecting this had to say about all of this happening.
So yeah, everybody's just taking cover, and just someone that came really close to the building, and we had to position our firearms saying, look, don't come any close, don't come in here. Okay? You were threatening, and they backed off.
And again, this went on starting around in the 9 o'clock hour, according to the Lynchburg Police Department. By the time we arrived here on scene, by about 12:30, 12:45, they were still trying to get protesters out of the area. We could still hear glass being shattered and things being thrown here into the building. But again, just complete destruction here of this restaurant, 5th and Federal, right here at the corner of 5th and Federal. Patrick and Rachel, a lot of cleaning up to do here this morning, but there still are members of some other folks of the militia, which you'll hear a little bit more about later in the show, that are here protecting this building right now.
And Shane, quite a mess there. What do they think would have happened if people weren't there to defend the building? The gentleman that we spoke to said that there were a couple times where they were here inside the building where the protesters were just baiting them, trying to get them to come out of the building. And he said, in his opinion, that he felt that if they would have exited this building at that point, as the protesters were trying to get them to come out of the building, that they would have come in and completely destroyed the building. So his take on this is that if they were not there to protect this building.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? Sheepdog Overwatch coming to you live from the other side of the sites today. A lot of people are asking me, hey man, what's up with the cartoony Ghost Recon stuff? Hey, it's just how I like to present myself. Trying to stay a little bit anonymous, kind of keep my face off of YouTube. And I kind of like it that way. I like being anonymous, man. I like being a private person, like being a private citizen, like being a privately armed citizen. And when I go outside with my weapon on me and, I carry concealed, I have a concealed carry weapons permit, and that's just how I like to be, concealed. So that's why I have this cartoon character as a figure of me. I wish I knew how to animate in some type of Adobe program, but I'm not, so I'm like, hey, he's animated. I'm me, and he looks cool like I do, and let's get into this. So, my subject for the day today is sheepdogs. And we all know that sheepdogs are the protectors of the herd, right? Right. I have been looking through YouTube for, about 4 hours. And I've been looking for nothing but sheepdog videos. And I'll tell you, it is nice to see sheepdogs going out and protecting their communities against these Black Lives Matter protesters, these ANTIFA protesters. It seems like when people have guns, they tend to fucking back down a lot. They tend to back down from the loud and boisterous bravado that they carry, because once they run into, say, walking down the street, and there's people out there who are armed civilians, and they're running the gauntlet, basically, on both sides. And they're not saying a lot to these people. They're not acting the fool like Garrett Foster did, and I'm going to do a video on that. They're not acting the fool. They're actually doing what they need to be doing, and that's protesting out there for whatever their narrative is, which is completely false. But I'm glad to see that the sheepdogs have finally started to come out and said, you know what? We've had enough, man. We've been cooped up in our houses for months. We're dealing with this COVID nonsense. People screaming at us at the grocery store to wear a fucking mask when we know for a fact that a mask doesn't do diddly shit for us. And then we've got to deal with these clowns who think they're protesting for some type of narrative that statistically isn't true. That there are things going on in this country that statistically and socially don't exist. I love seeing that. But I want to focus on Portland. I want to focus on places where Antifa or Black Lives Matter agitators and rioters have pretty much taken control of a certain part of a city. Why the fuck aren't you down there lining the streets? Cops can only do so much. They can, and you know this. Is this a call to arms to Minutemen to go out there and finally militia up and take your cities back? I'll let you interpret that any way you want after watching this video. Now, law-abiding, armed citizens know the laws of their state. They know the federal laws. They know the statutes of the city when it comes to carrying their weapons, whether concealed or in open carry. We know that Oregon is an extremely democratic, aka socialist state. Jesus Christ, go figure, right? Anyway, where are the sheepdogs of Oregon? I remember a few years back, there was some type of land dispute, and there were some militiamen that had shown up to, basically, they were telling federal officers, get off the land, get out of here, you're not welcome here. They were telling law enforcement, hey man, you can't come here. And law enforcement backed off because they knew that constitutionally these guys were basically right. In Portland, seeing what's going on there, what's going on really in any city in this country, I have met with friends and I have gone down into our downtown area, and we have done roving patrols. We have done rolling patrols and have gone out and documented things with our cell phones, with video camera. If anybody confronted us, we made sure that the video camera was there. Nothing ever went to the level of violence that it did with Garrett Foster, I should say. Nothing went to that level of violence because when there are multiple vehicles with armed men inside them, people tend to ruck the fuck up and act right really quick. We roll out and we are happy to assist law enforcement in whatever it might be. That's what a sheepdog does. We are there for the community. That is what the sheepdog does. The sheepdog protects the herd. Why aren't sheepdogs in these cities that are in a high level of conflict, militia up, Minuteman up, and move the fuck out? Why are we not seeing this? Is it because you might have to defend yourself? Is it because you're afraid that, I've got a wife, I've got kids, I got a job? Well, in the age of the Corona mask, who's going to see your fucking face? If you tack up with your kit and you have your mask on, who the fuck is going to know who you are? Now, unless you're some type of Geardo out there and you've got fucking O positive and your name on your chest rig and so on and so forth, just take that fucking thing off. Wear an American flag patch on your fucking rig, man. Wear a Punisher patch on your fucking rig. Show unity in your militia. Show unity in your sheepdog squad. Everybody in the squad knows who the fuck you are, so why not take back your city? I feel good when I'm out there doing something for my community. I feel good when I'm out there and I know that I've got more than a dozen men armed to the teeth covering my six. A lot of people are going to grind on me about this, though. Like, who are you to say that you're the law? What are you, a vigilante? No, I'm not. I'm a sheepdog. Chris Kyle said, I'm a sheepdog. I go to war so people back home can sleep safely. Because that's what sheepdogs do. My platoon of sheepdogs that I go out with, we're all veterans. I met up with these guys. Doesn't matter what the intel you need to know about how I met up with these guys. The same way that the folks out there who meet up with their folks. It's called social media. That's the same way they do it. That's the same way we do it. And you've seen sheepdogs out there protecting businesses, the Alamo, Confederate statues. If you remember, I believe it was in Kentucky, Black Lives Matter rioters were going to go and tear down, I believe it was a Robert E. Lee or a Stonewall Jackson statue in Kentucky. Those good old boys weren't fucking having it, man. They're like, no, not today. Not fucking today, right? These guys are out there protecting rights of the country. And then you have the dark side. Now, I'm for everyone out there owning a firearm, who can legally own a firearm. I'm all about creating a militia when you need to. I'm all about following the law. We're all about following the law. But then when you have a dark element like NFAC out there, and their clown of a leader, Grandmaster Jay, out there, we've all seen the videos. You all know what I'm talking about. We all know this guy's stolen valor history, so on and so forth. I hate to say it, but that militia is giving the left everything they need in their magazine to push for more gun control. Now, don't get it twisted. I want to point something out. In the NFAC, right, they said they're segregated, basically. They said you need to have a darker shade of skin color in the Crayola box. We're not accepting members outside our quote-unquote race, which is a complete fucking line of bullshit. Because I don't believe in a race, since we're fucking, Homo sapien erectus, spine-having, fucking air-breathing mammals. We're a species. I don't believe in a race. I just believe that We're the human race, and everybody has a different skin color. And if everybody believed the same way I did, trust me, folks, there would be a fuck less problems in this world. And that's the honest truth, because I'm sidetracking here and I know it. There's only good and evil. Crime doesn't give a fuck what color you are. Death doesn't give a fuck what color you are. Taxes don't give a fuck what color you are. War doesn't give a fuck what color you are. Pestilence doesn't give a fuck what color you are. And famine doesn't give a fuck what color you are. Have I covered the five or six basics there? So, skin color doesn't matter. But the Democrats are going to look at that and they're going to say anybody who forms a militia can be that radical. And we have seen radical militias in the past. We have. We have seen certain parts of an organization say, we're not going to put up with that, the 3%ers. I'm talking about the 3%ers. The 3%ers do not fuck around when it comes to riffraff in their militia. They don't fuck around with that. The Sons of Virginia, we don't fuck around with that. The Sons of Norway, we don't fuck around with that. The Knights of Norway, we don't fuck around with that. If you've got a problem and you have just a fucking inkling of racist DNA in you, man, you aren't welcome. We're for Americans and we're for the rights of Americans and we're for the protection of communities. That's what we're about. We're not about protesting and thinking that the cops are going to move faster when it comes to certain crimes that are, what they believe is racially based, which is completely dishonest and not true. Sheepdogs are a good thing. Minutemen militias are just as well. But what we need to do is we need to go into these cities and have a show of force. There are a set number of people that are in charge, just like you would in the military, right? Your brigade commander, your battalion commander, your company commander, your squad, your platoon leader, and your squad leader. Into those 5 elements, right? We could push it up through to regiment and division and army, but there's 190 million gun owners in this country, right? Where are we? Well, I know I'm out doing my job. Are you out doing your job? I'm not afraid to go out and do what I do because I know that I have a dozen at any given time with me, rolling in a convoy at night. We all own black vehicles, and we roll like a convoy, just like we did during the military. We plan our operations. We factor the threat. We come up with the op plan, and then we marshal up, and then we move out. And we identify where we need to be. There are businesses out there that contact me directly and say, hey, can you guys come by on Saturday night and, take a look at the place and make sure that the riffraff isn't down there fucking with my business? Hey, no problem. We've got you that night, right? We're making friendships within the community where we have leadership in charge and we have convoy commanders and we have, designated people to do designated operations. We have people who have the proper licensing to carry a proper type of weapon, and we have Overwatch on certain buildings that have agreed to let us go on top of their buildings. And we're pulling ISR. That type of thing. Why aren't other sheepdogs in the country doing this? The video camera and the cell phone is your most powerful ally at this moment. You have to show restraint. And when threatened, you have to show force, whatever level of force that might go to, including up to and lethal force. So I want to say to the sheepdogs out there, to the militiamen out there, to the Minutemen out there, get yourselves organized and go fucking help your communities. Not only are you going to have that camaraderie if you're a veteran, you're going to build that camaraderie again. You're going to have that wonderful feeling of being able to go on an op, and then afterwards, man, you have a beer and a shot of whiskey and a good fucking stoke afterward on a completed, successful operation. And then you take everything that you've gathered intel-wise that night and you submit it to your local law enforcement agency. And you let them take over then. You don't post it to your social media. You don't post it and send it off to friends, text messaging or video messaging on your phone, that type of thing. You use the proper OPSEC to ensure that the only people that need to see this are law enforcement. Sheepdogs of America, please, Minuteman the fuck up and do something. There are good Samaritans out there that I'm absolutely positively sure are veterans. They're starting to come out. It's great to see this movement of sheepdogs really start to flourish in the United States during this time of COVID-19. I'm proud to be a sheepdog. Are you proud to be a sheepdog? I'm absolutely positively sure you are. And I would like to see other gun channels talk about this as well. And firearms channels and conservative channels talk about this as well. And interview some of these sheepdogs and let them have their voice. Because I see a lot of gun channels out there, but I don't see a lot of activism out there. They'll report the news on, say, like the McCloskeys or the shooting about Garrett Foster. You have other people out there who will show videos on Good Samaritans helping police officers. You'll have videos out there with certain instructors basically breaking down what happened in the video, the self-defense aspect of the video, and how you can do better in that video. You have your organizations like the NRA, USCCA, Gun Owners Association of America. If you're not a member of these, be a member of these. If you're not an owner of gun insurance, get it. NRA, ILA, USCCA, I'm a platinum member of them. I highly suggest that you get some type of insurance, because if the shit does go down, you folks know how it is, man. Look, we have the right to keep and bear arms, and we have the right to defend ourselves. The bad guys don't follow the laws. They don't, but we do. And even we're susceptible to those laws, and you have got to know when to and when not to engage. Remember, be reactive, but be proactive when it comes to helping your community. Reactive when it comes to a situation. Know the situation. Be calm in the situation. Be the voice of reason. And if it goes to another level, you've got your buddies with you. You've got your weapons with you. And hey, if it ever goes to shit, you've got the skills, you've got the training, and you've got the firepower. So, let everything I've said sink in for a minute. And on that note, folks, my helos here. I've got to hit the skids. Sheepdog Overwatch is RTB. Out.